Hello, brothers and sisters. My name is Matthew McGuff, and this is CS 313 Web Engineering 2. I'd like to welcome you to this course. Make sure you have the prerequisites before we begin here. Make sure you're in the right place. But I wanted to go over what we're going to actually be learning. So we're going to build applications using server-side programming and relational database technology. We're going to be using Heroku, which is a free cloud-based deployment platform that will allow you to deploy code and data to a platform as a service. Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. And there's a lot of different choices out there as far as whether you deploy an application on premise or you deploy an application in the cloud, and what level of decision making you have to make. And so we'll dive into that in just a moment. We want you guys to understand what an into your web application is. Basically, all that fancy term means is we're breaking an application into smaller components with separation of concerns, right? So you have a front end, you have a back end, and you have different layers of things that are doing things. And there's all good reasons why we do that in enterprise level applications, make them easier to maintain and work. And we'll jump into why we do that and what best practices there are surrounding that. And then we're going to talk about how to learn independently and how to evaluate. What are the fundamentals of this, and how do you determine what the advantages and disadvantages are of the many competing web technologies that are out there. Wanted to draw your attention to the how assignments are graded. Basically, if you participate in your team and you get your projects done, you're going to be in good shape. Exams and quizzes, though important, really the most important pieces are this. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Heroku and where it sits. So a good example to kind of abstract you from kind of the complicated piece of this is think of this as making a pizza, right? In a fully software as a service model, right, or pizza as a service model, everything is provided for you, right? You don't really have to provide anything. In a platform as a service model, you provide the dining table and the soda, and the vendor manages everything else. Infrastructure as a service, and then on premise you provide everything, right? Basically, you replace those terms with this, and you've basically got the idea of what the different choices are out there in the land here. Heroku is only a platform as a service model, and it provides you a very easy way of deploying applications and data. Okay. And deploying to Heroku is pretty straightforward. It's got a wonderful website, really, really easy to do. It supports many different languages, and it's something. And even though it's really quick and easy to deploy, it is a production level URL that it generates. So this is a really, really quality thing. And as on their free tier, you get to deploy up to 5 applications without any cost. Just totally awesome. There's some limitations in that, and we'll go over that as we get into the course. But for this course, we're going to be focusing on deploying an application in PHP, and we're going to be deploying an application in Java later in the semester. So this goes and shows you exactly what the steps are to deploy. You can deploy through the GUI, or you can deploy through the command line. I suggest the command line because you have a little bit more. It's a little bit quicker to do it that way because GUIs change over time. PHP has this concept of something called composer.json, which is included in your project that kind of manages the dependencies that are within it. For those that come from JavaScript and the Node.js world like me, basically that's your package.json. And there's this thing called Packagist that you can go in and explore packages that's very similar to NPM. So that's it in a nutshell. I know you guys are going to do great. Remember to work with one another. Be active in the Slack channel. Let's have a great year, and really, really looking forward to teaching you and making this as beneficial as it can be. You guys have a wonderful day.